I am Kesten Rono, and today is day 140 of A Course in Miracles. I feel the love of God within me now. That this is something that we want, that we choose, that we love, to notice this peace within ourselves, to be blessed by this peace from all things, and to bless them in return with this light within us. Reviewing Principle 40. The miracle acknowledges everyone as your brother and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God, the light within all living things, the peace that you have the capacity to notice within yourself, which is absolutely part of your experience. The miracle acknowledges everyone as your brother and mine. It is a way of perceiving the universal mark of God, that rather than defining everything by its shape that we assign, its function, believing we know how it is best serving us, the space around all the objects, the separation between them, we may simply see everything with its universal concept, this universal mark of God, this idea of life, light, levity, truth, worthiness. Lesson 190. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Wonderful. Please repeat after me. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. God's messengers are joyous, we remember. And pain is part of the realm of dis-ease and suffering. And we recognize that our discomfort here in this course is all a result of our lack of knowing, the assuredness that we assume happens by borrowing from the past and living inside of it, defending ourselves from some inevitable future. Inevitable because we're actually banking on the past happening again so we can control it rather than being open to the idea of change and the idea that the unknown has more abundance, truth, and love, opportunity, light, and peace than we've ever experienced before in a way that we can't even classify with words or exactly express to somebody else. And suddenly, all of the ideas of parables of Jesus and other teachers, these metaphors, start to come to the surface with new light, describing an idea of peace and truth and infiniteness, enlightenment in a way, for all minds, including ours, as we translate it for others to notice as well. So we have a choice, of course. How we feel inside is what we will see reflected around us. So rather than saying what we don't want, we look into the open space, even if it's unknown, and we realize that we can be an inventor, an entrepreneur here, and lean into the edges of reality beyond the norm that we imagined everybody else felt too, and the expectations associated with it. And be curious about building into the elements of God ultimately, of spirit itself. What would it be like to be exactly ourselves and reach as far as we can into the eternal through our conscious present and build in the name of truth itself? This is what we choose. And as God's messengers are joyous and we're curious about questing and building in this name, we say again, I choose the joy of God instead of pain. Pain is a wrong perspective. When it is experienced in any form, it is a proof of self-deception. It is not a fact at all. There is no form it takes that will not disappear if seen aright. For pain proclaims God cruel. How could it be real in any form? It witnesses to God the Father's hatred of his Son, the sinfulness he sees in him, and his insane desire for revenge and death. Okay, pain is a wrong perspective. When it is experienced in any form, it is a proof of self deception. It is not a fact at all. It's not a fact at all. It's not part of truth. If you are experiencing pain in any form at all, perhaps you may see it as dis-ease and welcome ease into your life by forgiving it, by noticing whatever energy it is that you're carrying associated with it and letting it go. Forgiving again is your key to your salvation and noticing the grace that lies beyond. Can such projections be attested to? That is, the sinfulness that God sees, his hatred for his son, his insane desire for revenge and death. Can such projections be attested to? Can they be anything but wholly false? Pain is but witness to the son's mistakes in what he thinks he is. It is a dream of fierce retaliation for a crime that could not be committed, for attack on what is wholly unassailable. It is a nightmare of abandonment by an eternal love, capital E, capital L. It is a nightmare of abandonment by an eternal love, which could not leave the Son whom it created out of love. No idea may leave its source. Wholly unassailable, absolutely complete. The idea of tearing it down is laughable. Pain is a sign illusions reign in place of truth. It demonstrates God is denied, confused with fear, perceived as mad, and seen as traitor to himself. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. For vengeance is not part of love, and fear, denying love and using pain to prove that God is dead, has shown that death is victor over life. The body is the Son of God, corruptible in death, as mortal as the Father he has slain. That is, if we are aligned with the body, rather than accepting some idea of spirit identification, we live in a world of pain. It is part of the perception of this state of the world. Peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at such insane ideas. There is no need to think of them as savage crimes or secret sins with weighty consequence. Who but a madman could conceive of them as cause of anything? Their witness, pain, is mad as they, and no more to be feared than the insane illusions which it shields and tries to demonstrate must still be true. If no idea may leave its source, if fear can only represent fear itself, this is a hint, a reflection that to be overcome with fear at all is to be fearful. We want to be awful, full of awe. Fear, of course, is afraid that it will not exist because it does not exist in wholeness, in the unconditional love. Unconditional love may love it, and fear requires that it must be afraid of everything else. So, fear as a God results in being afraid, and pain as a God or an internal state results in being in pain from something, fearful of something, versus unconditional love, in love with everything. It's okay, you can rest here. Forgiveness offering this idea of innocence again. It's okay. It is not so to your ideas of fear, to your ideas of pain, and the allegiance of a God that exists there in the body itself, rather than the God of assuredness, of completeness. Peace to such foolishness. The time has come to laugh at such insane ideas. There is no need to think of them as savage crimes or secret sins with weighty consequence. Who but a madman could conceive of them as cause of anything? Their witness, pain, is mad as they, and no more to be feared than the insane illusions which it shields and tries to demonstrate must still be true. Remember, true, the truth, is wholly complete and must be all encompassing. So something that demands that you be separate from your ease, your love, your light in the name of truth is begging that you see it as the truth and completeness. But being in lack is never being complete. Being afraid of something is a repulsion. Being in pain from something is a repulsion. And this is not the idea of becoming connected. May you recognize it for what it is. May I recognize it for what it is. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. It is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. There is no cause beyond yourself that can reach down and bring oppression. Let's just repeat those 3 lines. It is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. There is no cause beyond yourself that can reach down and bring oppression. No one but yourself affects you. There is nothing in the world that has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. How many times do you hear yourself, that makes me happy, even? Or if I counsel someone or myself, even, that makes me angry. That makes me confused. Let's pause. Does anything make you anything? Is there anything you may feel of which you need to be afraid of feeling? If you're feeling confusion or sadness, perhaps it is just simply time to feel confusion or sadness. And in this act, we realize that, oh, I'm the one noticing it within myself. And we can evaluate it within ourselves. Even if it feels like it's part of some external cause, the truth is I am ultimately, in my lack of consciousness awareness, allowing myself to feel this way. No one is making me feel anything. They might try, but what are they trying? They're trying to get you to have an allegiance to pain and fear itself. I choose the joy of God instead of pain. There is nothing in the world that has the power to make you ill or sad or weak or frail. But it is you who have the power to dominate all things you see by merely recognizing what you are. As you perceive the harmlessness in them, they will accept your holy will as theirs. And what was seen as fearful now becomes a source of innocence and holiness. So we go first. We go first. My holy brother, think of this a while. The world you see does nothing. It has no effects at all. It merely represents your thoughts. That's right. If we are accepting this line of logic and trying it on, what we are seeing is the effects of our internal state. We are the cause. Our thoughts are the cause. And what we are image making and experiencing are the effects, just so that we may simply notice the reflections and say, is this idea insane or is this idea the truth? As we align ourselves with this vision of Christ, the Holy Spirit, and seeing the life in all things rather than the body, and declaring that shape and its pain and its fear a requirement for living. As we see this new way, we're simply allowing ourselves to see the reflections around us. Because if we are witnessing what we imagine we want to be seeing, then we know what it is and we have the ability to give it. We give the miracles we have received. Everything around us, if you want to try it on, is the effect of your thoughts, not the other way around. My holy brother, think of this a while. The world you see does nothing. It has no effects at all. It merely represents your thoughts. And it will change entirely as you elect to change your mind and choose the joy of God as what you really want. Your self is radiant in this holy joy, unchanged, unchanging, and unchangeable forever and forever. And would you deny a little corner of your mind its own inheritance and keep it as a hospital for pain, a sickly place where living things must come at last to die? What an idea. Wholeness would be really, really great, but I would actually prefer if I could carve out a painful, fearful corner of lack, just so I can make sure that I suffer. The world may seem to cause you pain, and yet the world as causeless has no power to cause. As an effect, It cannot make effects. As an illusion, it is what you wish. Your idle wishes represent its pains. Your strange desires bring it evil dreams. Your thoughts of death envelop it in fear, while in your kind forgiveness does it live. I imagine this idea may feel challenging, may feel new, therefore, to reconcile. A simple way of inverting it is imagine if everyone's outlook was joy. Where would all this death be that we're seeing? Pain is the thought of evil taking form and working havoc in your holy mind. Pain is the ransom you have gladly paid not to be free. In pain is God denied the Son he loves. In pain does fear appear to triumph over love, and time replace eternity and heaven. And the world becomes a cruel and bitter place where sorrow rules and little joys give way before the onslaught of the savage pain that waits to end all joy in misery. I love this passage. Pain is the thought of evil taking form and working havoc in your holy mind. Pain is the ransom you have gladly paid not to be free. Lay down your arms and come without defense into the quiet place where heaven's peace holds all things still at last. Lay down all thoughts of danger and fear. Let no attack enter with you. Lay down the cruel sword of judgment that you hold against your throat, and put aside the withering assaults with which you seek to hide your holiness. Here will you understand there is no pain. Here does the joy of God belong to you. This is the day when it is given you to realize the lesson that contains all of salvation's power. Let's hear that again. This is the day when it is given you to realize the lesson that contains all of salvation's power. And then it says what the lesson is. It is this: pain is illusion, joy, reality. Pain is but sleep, joy is awakening. Pain is deception, joy alone is truth. And so again, we make the only choice that can ever be made. We choose between illusions and the truth, or pain and joy, or hell and heaven. Let our gratitude unto our teacher, capital T, your eternal self. Let our gratitude unto our teacher fill our hearts as we are free to choose our joy instead of pain, our holiness in place of sin, the peace of God instead of conflict, and the light of heaven for the darkness of the world. A simple prayer of gratitude is all we need. Gratitude for noticing, gratitude for understanding, despite all the darkness we thought we were caught inside of, all the confusion and pain and fear. Just simply gratitude for recognizing forgiveness, gratitude for our fears, gratitude for our tears, gratitude for what turns into laughter, an inexplicable connection and heavenly idea that, oh, it is not so, and it simply is. Gratitude for not being able to name whatever that is, gratitude for being able to feel it and feel that communication rather than have to think our way through infinite problems. Simply gratitude. Let our gratitude unto our teacher fill our hearts as we are free to choose our joy instead of pain, our holiness in place of sin, the peace of God instead of conflict, and the light of heaven for the darkness of the world. This is the only choice that can ever be made. Remember, one problem, one solution separate from ourselves. So we choose to see ourself, infinite other ideas other than completeness. There is only wholeness in the truth, the unconditionality of love. And if you are aligned with this idea, then every other single idea is simply not the whole truth or the unconditional love. This is the day when it is given you to realize the lesson that contains all of salvation's power. It is this: pain is illusion, joy is reality. Pain is but sleep, joy is awakening. Pain is deception, joy alone is truth. It is your thoughts alone that cause you pain. Nothing external to your mind can hurt or injure you in any way. Peace to such foolishness. Pain is a wrong perspective. When it is experienced in any form, it is a proof of self deception. It is not a fact at all. As we commit ourselves to the truth, may we see pain and illusion as untruths. It simply is not so. And the truth simply is. And may it be as simple as this: God's messengers are joyous. We said in our previous review that we are among the ministers of God. I am Kesten Rono, and I choose the joy of God instead of pain.